Ever look at a $4 bundle of basil and think, it'd be cheaper if I just eat weeds? If I buy this, I've got what, 2 days before it turns to mush in the bag? I'm at almost 15 bucks for some salad that might not even make it to the weekend. Good thing I learned how to grow that and then some right on a deck. Welcome to my spring garden tour. So before I take you on a tour, let's talk about small space gardening. Because honestly, the idea that you need acres and a tractor to grow food, that's not a fact. That's marketing. Somewhere along the way, we got sold a version of convenience that said, don't grow it, don't cook it, don't even try. Just buy it bagged, boxed, and barcoded. And we believed it. Let's do the math. Say you stop buying just 5 things. Things like greens, herbs, scallions, lettuces, whatever, because you grow them. And let's say that saves you $6 a week. That's $300 a year for crops that cost you just pennies to grow in a pot. And if you save $12 a week, that's $600. Small change? Sure, but it adds up fast and it adds up every season. And that leads me to my deck. Do you want to see what over 100 crops looks like? Well, get ready to see the view that changed everything. And oh, it's late spring, and this is probably the last look at things before I transition to my summer garden. Pretty wild, right? So, is it greener than you expected? Tighter than you thought? Or are you just wondering, how the heck is this not chaos? It's called a green stock, and no, my deck didn't always look like this. Before this, I'll admit that it was container city. I'm talking buckets, clay pots, fabric bags. I even had a water trough on my deck. And it was a jungle of mixed-matched chaos. I live in a townhouse. Space is precious, but I was out here farming like I had an acre. Dragging multiple 5-gallon pots around to chase the sun like it was a toddler. Hauling heavy caddies, watering my plastic different than my clay and my cloth because I'm trying to remember which one dried out faster. Spoiler, all of them. Somewhere along the way, I had stopped gardening and instead was project managing a plant-based nightmare. And my deck looked like a yard sale. And then one day my husband said, looks like the plants are having a great time, but where do the humans go? And just like that, it dawned on me that I needed a system, not a new container. A strategy, really, which is where Greenstock comes in. It's vertical, it's modular, and it grows a lot without taking over your deck or your life. And I'll show you how that works in a minute, but first let's take a look at what's actually growing in one of these 5 beauties. Welcome to my outdoor spice cabinet. This is my dedicated herb greenstock planter. This planter has been with me for years, and every spring she wakes up and gets right back to work. And what you see here isn't just a collection of herbs. It's the foundation of my teas, my broths, my tinctures, my balms. I mean, this is truly all of the flavor that I am bringing to my kitchen. And the best part is that the majority of these herbs are cut and come again. So I harvest what I need when I need it, and nothing goes to waste. So this is truly giving me fresh ingredients on demand. Let me walk you through what's going on here right now. I've got lemon balm in here. It's bright, it's citrusy, and perfect for evening teas or a calming salve. Next to it, oregano, abundant, bushy, and the backbone of so many broths and sauces. I've also got sage tucked into the lower tier. These soft, velvety leaves are perfect for roasting and winter remedies. Rosemary is thriving over here. It is fantastic in everything from bone broth to bread. You'll also spot some thyme, delicate but potent, and it's great in soups and roasted dishes. This tall plant with the fern leaves and white blossoms, that's yarrow. It's amazing for tinctures and skin healing balms. I've also got mint growing in a few pockets, which is fresh and cooling and perfect for teas or desserts. And then this upright grass-like plant, that's lemongrass. It's one of my favorites for infusing into homemade broths or making bright iced teas. What I love about this setup is that it's perennial powered. It comes back to life in April, and I'll have herbs clear through November. In fact, most of those herbs were planted 5 years ago, and they just keep coming back. And when you grow them yourself, you don't need to ration like you do when you're at the store. This little tower right here is proof that you don't need acres to grow something that is powerful, flavorful, and real. A few sprigs of lemon verbena steeped cold in the fridge paired with a bit of mint is the best thirst-quenching drink with the nutrients that I want and the sugar, chemicals, and price tag that I don't want from the store. Using clean, fresh flavors straight from my garden that I planted years ago but keep coming back year after year. There is also nothing like harvesting crispy lettuce and sun-warmed tomatoes right when I need them, just enough to stack on a homemade hamburger. No waste, no wilting greens forgotten in the fridge, the rest still growing, still thriving, ready for the next meal. And when I'm making broth, I'm not skimping. I just come out to the garden and I harvest platefuls of oregano, sage, rosemary, and thyme that I throw into stocks and broths. But now that they're growing outside, every pot of stock tastes like I know what I'm doing. I even grow my own sugar. Stevia, that is. Which I harvest by the handfuls, dehydrate it, and turn it into a chemical-free, plant-based sweetener. All right, let's move to this tower. Now, I succession plant so that I'm always eating off of a planter. So you're gonna see that this tower isn't as full as her sister over there. And I just like to stagger my planter so that I'm eating about a half tower every week. So if you see an empty pocket, nothing's wrong. It's just proof that we're eating. I still have 3 more planters to share, but first a disclaimer. This video is not sponsored and I am not a master gardener. I can't be. I know you see me on YouTube, but I actually work full time. So I grow on evenings and weekends just like the rest of y'all, and I really can't do more than 15-minute spurts. So yeah, I don't have certifications or badges. I'm at best an intermediate beginner gardener, but every time I share a video, I always get a comment like, wow, how do you make it look so easy? And I assure you, it ain't me. It's this thing, the design, the green stalk. It quietly solves the top 3 problems every gardener has, whether you're growing on a balcony or a backyard. Your headaches are going to be pest pressure, watering, and disease. And this planter tackles all 3. Let's break it down. Most garden pests are actually pretty lazy. They live in the soil and just crawl around munching on whatever's nearby. But because green stalks grow up and not out, those pests never even make it to your salad. So it's like, sorry aphids, take the stairs. And watering, it's a dream. You just pour into the top water reservoir, and these planters hold moisture better than grow bags or buckets. And so you're not stuck with that whole did I drown it or dehydrate it game. And finally, there's disease. When your plants are crammed together on the ground, one sick leaf can become a gardening disaster. But in a green stalk, each crop has its own little apartment. No shared walls, no crazy contamination. And if something is off, you see it fast and it's isolated. And that's the kicker, because I am not constantly battling pests, overwatering, or eyeing mysterious rot. I'm actually growing more food per square foot than in-ground gardens. There, I said it. But come on, think about it. If you plant 3 lettuces and you lose 3 to bugs and 2 to disease, and then maybe another one to bad drainage, that's a 40% loss before you've even harvested. But with this, my crops have fewer enemies and better odds. So even though it is vertical and compact, my yield per square foot is higher simply because more of what I grow actually makes it to my plate. And that's not just space saving. That's strategy. So nope, I'm not a master gardener, but I am someone who's learned how to grow real food with no land, no fuss, and no bending over. If this is our first time meeting, hi, I'm Cassandra from the blog becomingaafarmgirl.com, and I'm here to show you how to live a farm fresh life without land or livestock. And if you want a simple way to get growing or add a grain stock to your existing setup, you can use my code BeAFarmGirl to take $10 off your order. The link is in the description and pinned comment, or scan the QR code to check it out. So this is one of my more eclectic planters, and she's a hybrid between like the last of spring and then early summer. You can probably tell that she's in transition mode, and I love that about her. The top tier is holding on to a few of my late spring lettuces. They're still tender and great for a quick harvest, but I'm keeping an eye on them since they'll bolt soon as the heat kicks in. And I've got some chard and a few mustard greens in here too. They're nutrient dense and beautiful with those deep greens and purples. These are powerhouse plants for blood building and immune support. This is my cool weather powerhouse planter, and it's working overtime right now. You're looking at a vertical tower full of some of the most nutrient-dense crops I grow, leafy greens, sturdy herbs, and a few summer holdovers still doing their thing. Lots of celery, which I love growing. As long as it's shaded, it will keep clear through the summer. Chards, collard, kale, it's all in here. This planter feeds us constantly, but what I really love is how versatile it is. Every leaf in here has a use. It's either medicinal, nutritional, or just downright delicious. It's actually a little too easy to get started growing with these planters. When it arrives, it's all there. Your full garden, neatly in a box. No tools, no guessing, no waiting. Within 30 minutes, you'll have a fully assembled vertical garden. You'll get 5 or 6 stackable tiers, depending on your model, each with deep planting pockets ready for everything from lettuce to peppers or even squash. You'll just pop in the interlocking wheels to the base and fill your roomy bases with potting mix. Then add whatever you're growing, from seeds or starts. Top with your watering discs and repeat. That's it. Remember, this is a family-run business out of Tennessee. You're not buying from some big box brand. You're supporting real people who stand behind their product. Now, start to finish, you'll be growing by the time your coffee's gone. Now, this planter is just downright gorgeous, and it's an example of how you can maximize beauty without sacrificing productivity. This is what I like to call my edible beauty tower because it's a perfect mix of leafy greens that I harvest weekly and cheerful flowers that help feed the bees and my kitchen. Up top, I've got spinach that's still holding strong. It's perfect for smoothies, sautés, or quick salads. And then nestled in between are these beautiful collard greens, which are super versatile and long-lasting into the season. You're also going to spot these beautiful marigolds, which aren't just pretty, they're edible and they help deter pests, especially aphids and nematodes. Plus they add such a joyful pop of color. I've also got a mix of curly kale and chard starting to fill in. All of those are nutritional powerhouses. I've also got some young basil and baby greens tucked in here. They're starting to get established as the cool weather crops begin to fade. So let's talk numbers. Each green stalk holds 5 to 6 cubic feet of soil. And that's 30 growing zones in the footprint of a chair. And that equates to a minimum of 30 crops. I've got 5 of them running, so that's 150 growing zones on a deck the size of 2 parking spaces. So do I technically have a half acre of food production? I mean, kind of, and I don't have to leave my house to do it. And oh, these planters are super durable too, and they've been tested to withstand hundreds of pounds of pressure. And just in case you're wondering, I leave my planters out all year long. I've had my planters going on 6 or 7 years, and during that time, throughout hurricane season or strong rains, they have never budged. Even though other planters I've used have definitely toppled over. And that's just another reason why I love GreenStalk. Let's clear something up. A green thumb isn't a personality trait. So if gardening has ever felt confusing or messy or even like a second job, it's not because you're bad at it. It's because you don't have a system. I used to think that gardening had to look a certain way. Big beds, rows of crops, and maybe a chicken in the background. But this is my setup, and this is my season. And I've learned that you don't need a farm to grow food. So if gardening has ever felt out of reach because of time, energy, health, or space, I'm here to tell you, it's not. You've just never had the right setup, until now. Use my link and code BAFarmGirl to take $10 off your order. And let this be the year you finally stop winging it. I'll see you in my kitchen or garden soon. Take care, friends.